In this video, we look at a Lovecraftian creature at the centre of the earth, and look at roles it could fill in the Trench Crusade lore. Could it be behind the portal in hell that was there before the fallen angels were cast down there? Could it give birth to beasts for hell, or be the demiurge itself? Let's find out. So welcome back to the trenches, and let's begin. The creature I have in mind is a candidate for what's through the portal that's worshipped by the Church of Metamorphosis, who evolve and change and shed their form, is Ubbo Sathla. That's who the congregation could worship and humble themselves before. So let's go over what this thing is and where it could fit into the lore. It dwells within the newly made earth. It's dubbed the source and the end, and that's before the coming of other ancient star beings. Ubbo Sathla dwelt in the steaming fens of the new made earth. To look at it, you'd see a mass without head or members, spawning the grey, formless F's of the Prime and the grisly prototypes of Terran life. And all earthly life, it is told, shall go back at last through the great circle of time to Ubbo Sathla. This thing is a primordial entity inside the earth itself, and it's the source of all life on the planet and guards tablets that hold the knowledge of the primeval gods. The short story tells us Zon Mezamalek had dreamt to recover the wisdom of the gods who died before the earth was born. They had passed to the lightless void, leaving their lore inscribed upon tablets of ultra-stellar stone, and the tablets were guarded in the primal mire by the formless, idiotic demiurge Ubbo Sathla. So it basically spawns all the forms of life on earth, and I wondered in Trench Crusade if this could be related to Lilith, the mother of monsters. Could this thing fit in there, give birth to the monstrous combinations of animals and demons, so they can be put back into the war with heaven without breaking the covenant? Just an idea, and one day it will take back all it had made into itself. Could this link to the portal? I know it says one day it will widen and give the creatures who worship there apotheosis. So think of each of those forms in various guises being made, and the story suggests quite a few across time, each birth changing and twisting what is there. I think that fits the vibe with the cult of metamorphosis and their ever-changing forms, and certainly fits with Lilith, who it's hinted gives birth to spawn for hell. As for the place it dwells in, this is called Waikwa, is how I'm going to say it. It's dubbed a cavern or abyss. The name was coined by another author, Lynn Carter, and other authors have linked other creatures to that place, and Lovecraft fandom describes it as follows: a grey litten abyss, identified as multidimensional, coterminous with many worlds and planes of existence. Nevertheless, this cavern can be accessed by the interior of a mountain. That entrance is guarded by the Grand Shoggoth. They are mentioned in a descriptive sense in trench lore when referring to the amalgam of the Black Grail, so that's another tie into larger Lovecraft lore and trench lore. I doubt we'll get an explanation for a lot of this. They are just fun hints at something larger, and like the many unexplained things in 40k, it's fun connecting things by yourself to make something where there is no answer. In one description it's mentioned that another name for this creature is demiurge, which the Britannica says the term was later adopted by some of the Gnostics, who in their dualistic worldview saw the demiurge as one of the forces of evil, who was responsible for the creation of the despised material world, and was wholly alien to the supreme god of goodness. I think this description could fit Ubbo Sathla as well. It's a fan favourite theory from what I've read, that the creator in Trench Crusade could be the demiurge. In the story, Ubbo Sathla is taken from, we are told, Trigadis, a man in modern-ish times who finds a relic, a crystal, and he can't help but use it, and his mind merges with a sorcerer and goes back and back through the ages, unremembered. And the time came when there was no longer a continent, but only a vast chaotic marsh, a sea of slime without limit or horizon, without shore or elevation, that seethed with a blind writhing of amorphous vapours. There in the grey beginning of earth, the formless mass that was Ubbo Sathla reposed amid the slime and the vapours, headless, without organs or members. It sloughed from its oozy sides in a slow ceaseless wave the amoebic forms that were the archetypes of earthly life. Horrible it was. If there had been aught to apprehend the horror and the loathsome, if there had been any to feel loathing, about it, prone or tilted in the mire, there lay the mighty tablets of star-quarried stone that were writ with the inconceivable wisdom of the premundane gods, and there to the goal of a forgotten search was drawn the thing that had been, or would sometime be, Paul Chagaris and Zon Mezamalek. It crawled sluggishly and obliviously across the fallen tablets of the gods, and fought and ravened blindly with the other spawn of Ubbo Sathla, and the man Paul had gone as if he had never been. In short side conversation, I came across this author and one of his creations when researching a creature called the Shoggoth for another video that's probably out by now. Lovecraft wrote many books with his cosmic horror style, and an author called Clegg Ashton Smith knew him and contributed to the wider Cthulhu mythos, and was a literary friend of Lovecraft, and who, along with Robert E. Howard, the creator of Conan the Barbarian, had their work published in a pulp magazine called Strange Tales. And I realise as I say that, it's actually Weird Tales. I also love the idea of these authors being inspired by each other and building on each other's mythos, as writing, it seems, can often be very singular, with you the only person to bounce ideas off. So let me know what you think to the potential in this idea. I appreciate it's not a solid link anywhere, but I like the idea and thought it would be worth sharing with yourself. So let me know what you think. Would you like to see more actual use of Lovecraft within Trench Crusade? I.e. not hints, but a more direct reference, some sort of faction perhaps? Where do you think these ancient old ones could fit in the war between heaven and hell? Whose side would they be on? Or would they worship whoever they do worship, and the beings they reach out to remain uncaring, so they can fight for either side? Would you like to see a third faction within the war, or are you happy for there to be small operations that slip through the cracks, that are not aligned to either side? Who do you think is behind the portal that the Church of Metamorphosis worship? I think my last theory was Azathoth, but I also put forward a few other ideas in that video. And if you like this video on Trench Crusade, then why not try this one? And if you want a bunch of videos on Trench Crusade, then why not try the playlist on the channel? I also cover 40k on the channel, just 1 a week at time of recording. I'm in one of those down periods where I'm focusing on building up the Trench videos before I circle back to 40k and do the same thing. I really want some of those big books to come out, like the next Beckwin and the Heritage Short Story Collection. Not everything has to be big for me, but it just needs to grab my attention and be interesting and make me excited. And a lot of the Black Library books, the ebooks I get, I picked up this year, have not excited me. I read them and they've been solid, but not many have stayed with me to a later state. And I feel like I've talked a lot of my favourite subjects to the point where I covered all the bits that interest me for the moment. But anyway, I digress. There are 2 40k playlists on the channel. One covers the dark age of technology, the other contains that and everything else.